really poor school districts. You know, within the last 2 weeks, I've been in schools in South Carolina, rural South Carolina, that were literally falling apart. And I've been in Detroit, where the schools are in such bad condition, children are in classrooms with mold and rodents. You know, I used to have a test. I called it the Chelsea test after my daughter. I would go to public schools in Arkansas, or when my husband started running for president, all across the country. And I would say to myself, would I send my daughter there? A lot of places the answer was yes, and proud to do it. Too many times the answer was no. There should not be a single public school in our country where any person wouldn't want to send their child. And that's the way we should think about it. And if you are in a position of public responsibility, look in the mirror and ask yourself, would you send your child or your grandchild to these schools? And if the answer is no, do something about it. Improve conditions in the facilities and the curriculum. Now, there's a lot at stake in this election. The stakes keep getting higher, and the rhetoric on the Republican side keeps getting lower. That's why it's really important, as the congressman said, that you vote early or you vote on Tuesday. I would be honored to earn your support, because I believe North Carolina needs a president who will work with those who are interested in creating the future that North Carolina should have for all of your citizens. So I know it's really hot, and you know, for some of us, being this hot is like a sauna, and you feel like maybe, you know, you're going to lose a pound or two. But for others, it may be a little too hot. So let me just end with this. There's a lot I want to do. I want to stand up for voting rights against the kind of restriction that North Carolina is imposing. It is outrageous that in 2016, we have to say we're for voting rights. I thought that was settled decades ago. But one of the ways to make sure that we stop this is to do everything you can to turn out as many people as possible, to demonstrate we are not going to be intimidated by these restrictive rules that are being imposed unfairly, and I would argue unconstitutionally. And yes, I will take on the gun lobby. 33,000 people a year die from gun violence. There are ways we can do this. Everything I've proposed, comprehensive background checks and the like, are supported by 92% of the American people and 85% of gun owners. Folks talk all the time about the powerful interests in Washington, and they list them off. Wall Street and drug companies and insurance companies and big oil. Absolutely. They all have too much say. But you know what the strongest lobby is? It's the gun lobby, which intimidates people, threatens elected officials. It is time, my friends, we stand together and say enough. We're going to save lives. We're going to protect our communities and our families. I stand with the families of Sandy Hook. Think of how you would feel. You send off your precious first grader, maybe with a little backpack on his or her back, and the next thing you hear is that some crazed person has taken an AR-15 and murdered those precious children and some of their teachers. The families of Sandy Hook are suing the maker of the AR-15, and they are trying to prevent other families from ever experiencing what they have gone through. But here's the problem. A law was passed a few years ago immunizing the gun companies and sellers from liability. I voted against it. My opponent voted for it. There is not another industry in America that has that kind of free pass no accountability. Cars kill people, they can be sued. Drugs, prescription drugs do. Toys even do. Families can hold somebody accountable and try to change practices. Under this law, suits like this one have been thrown out. I hope that the parents of Sandy Hook have better luck, but I will tell you this. I will do everything I can to make sure gun makers and sellers are accountable, just like any other business in our country. So, my friends, I am thrilled to be back in this beautiful state. I can't believe the way spring has already come. Of course, that does remind us we do have to take climate change seriously, which I intend to do. But the weather should be beautiful, so don't waste any time. Vote before early voting closes. Vote on March 15th. If you will go and vote for me on Tuesday, I will work and fight for you as hard as I can. Thank you all very much.